It's my pleasure to welcome you to this important session on empowering the North African higher education for inclusive digital innovation and regional growth. So this particular discussion, as we all know, sits at the intersection of our broader conference theme on the future of learning in Africa, technology, innovation, skills, and inclusive growth. We all know that across Africa, higher education institutions are not only the centers of learning, but then also engines of innovation and regional transformation. So as the digital era reshapes our economies and societies, universities, as we know, and particularly in Africa, have a central role to play in driving technological advancement, building digital skills, and ensuring that innovations benefits all. Today's panel, we would explore how North African universities are strengthening their digital capacities, fostering inclusion, and contributing to sustainable regional growth. It's my honor to introduce the moderator for our session, who will be guiding the conversation going forward. And the moderator is Dr. Mohamed Isa. Dr. Mohamed Isa is an associate professor of biotechnology at Al-Azhar University in Cairo, Egypt. He is the regional director of the Association of African Universities North African Office, that is NARO AAU. He also serves as the deputy executive director of WRAQ Cairo, which is a business incubator supported by Egypt's Academy of Scientific Research and Technology. He earned his PhD in plant biotechnology through a joint program between Al-Azhar University and Cornell University. And currently, he's a postdoctoral researcher in synthetic biology at Zhenjiang BioAsia Life Sciences Institute in China. So Dr. Isa's work mainly focuses on genome editing, omics technologies, and bioinformatics, with research experiences at institutions including Cornell University, USDA ARS, and Boyce Thompson Institute. He has authored several publications and holds professional certifications in strategic and project management. From what I've read, we see that his career reflects a strong commitment to advancing scientific research, innovation, and capacity building across Africa. He's man to lead the discussions going forward. Without much ado, we would invite Dr. Isa Mohamed to take over the next phase of the discussions. Over to you, Dr. Isa Mohamed.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Schneider, and greetings for all the people who in the platform who's attending and celebrating the AAU African Universities Day. We kick off on November 10th, and today is the fourth day for the celebration with different institutions, with different panel, keynote speakers, delegates, and professors from all the continent. And we know all that AAU celebration is annually, usually on November month, which marks the founding of the Association of African Universities in 1967. It serves as a continental platform to highlight the vital role of African higher education institution in driving innovation, skills development, and inclusive growth across the continent. As we introduce the NARO regional office session, it's important to recognize that NARO's pivotal role is linking between North Africa institutions with the border of the AEU network to foster collaboration, quality enhancement, and shared knowledge. This session is an opportunity to showcase the regional contributes and strengthen partnership aligned with the continent-wide vision promoted by the AAUD. Thank you again for the AUT for making this impactful celebration possible. And now we kick off the starting of the session. And please, do you mind if I share my session? Okay, so today we will have three great universities celebrating their model and presenting their model and their experiment in the African higher education. They presenting innovative skills and leadership in the model they introducing to the higher education. We will start with the Egyptian Electronic Learning University, which is EELU. And today we will have the honor to listen to the speaker, which is Professor Hisham Abdel Salam. Number two will be the another opportunity from Algeria, which is coming with Oran to University, and we will have our keynote speaker, is Professor Muhammad Milani from the University of Oran, Algeria. And number three will be Professor Mahmoud Sabahi from Badr University in Cairo, and will showcase about the innovation and the leadership skill they having in the university. Again, let's start with Professor Shamat Salam. Shamat Salam, brings over 25 years experience in higher education, e-government, operation management, strategic management, and institutional performance management. Professor Abdeslam appointed as the president of the Egyptian e-learning university in 2020, and he led the university's efforts to become a leading model for e-learning in Egypt and the wider region. Through an ambitious digital transformation agenda, he oversaw a comprehensive reconstruction of the university's technological infrastructure in line with the latest global development. He has supervised more than 80 master and doctoral theses and has published over 90 research papers in the fields such as decision support, e-government, optimization, artificial intelligence, modeling and simulation, surface process improvement, and operation management. Professor Abdesalam has collaborated on major research projects with international institutions, provided consultancy services to both national and international organizations, and contributed to the development of strategic management system for several prominent Egyptian companies and institutions. Now let's welcome Professor Hisham Abdesalam. He is the president of the EELU University, and he is the AAU governing board member for North Africa. Also, he is a steering board member for the NARO office. Professor Hisham, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. I will now share my presentation and I'll start immediately. Is it okay? Is it appear? Did it appear the presentation?
Yes.
Dr.
Maybe
Isa, is
maybe you put it in slide show mode.
okay. Is it okay now?
Perfect.
Yeah, Professor,
Okay.
that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you once again, Dr. Isa, and everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening or good afternoon, it depends. It's a great pleasure for me to join you today as we celebrate the remarkable journey of the AAU, an institution that stands at the heartbeat of the higher education across our continent. Today's presentation will consider inclusion by design, building a higher education model for all, the case of the Egyptian e-learning university, EELU. Higher education systems worldwide face challenges of access, equity, and quality. Social and geographic inequalities often limit participation of our young people. ELU was established with a mission to expand the access to quality higher education through blended learning models and digital innovation in Egypt. ELU's blended learning model was designed to overcome geographic, social, and economic barriers in Egypt's educational landscape. I can say that the cornerstone of ELU's approach lies in its adaptability and the student-centered design. And through the past few years, as I will show, ELU has crafted a learning model that leverages state-of-the-art ICT, learning and teaching technologies, while maintaining essential personal interaction and on-campus activities. The Egyptian e-learning university was established in 2008. as a new model for higher education in Egypt, utilizing flexible blended learning approach that integrates modern information and communication technologies. This unique approach not only ensures that higher education is accessible to more students, but also maintains the quality of learning at an affordable cost. ALU operates education centers or branches inside public universities in Egypt, making it a network that links these public universities together, having the best use of resources, especially faculty members' expertise. In 2018, the university was transformed into a national university, paving the way for such a class of universities in Egypt. And in 2018, the same year, a new board of trustees was appointed with an ambitious vision to rebuild the infrastructure of ALU, expand nationally to reach 10,000 registered students. In 2020, we had a new strategy with 3 goals and 4 balanced pillars. These pillars were enhancing the students' experience with a focus of technology-supported learning and community engagement. Number two, improving operational efficiency, quality of education support services, continuous professional development of the faculty and staff, fostering innovation, creating supportive technological environment, and keeping in mind that this is a self-serve university, financial sustainability and added value was a core pillar for us. These pillars and strategy were transformed into actionable objectives that cover all functional areas of ALU. These objectives were linked all together, and achieving this objective will, in turn, achieve the goal and the mission of ALU. And the results were evident. ALU expanded from 1,200 students in 3-year education branches in 2018 to more than 11,000 registered students across 13 education branches throughout all Egypt, from north to south, in 2024. ALU learning model incorporates synchronous and asynchronous learning and communication modes. Synchronous learning involves students interacting with the instructor in real time through a powerful integrated video conference and virtual classroom network. Students attend their lectures and practice sessions face-to-face at the centers, at the branches, with an online option, while the asynchronous learning involves the student working outside the classroom setting and at their own pace, and this is very important. Lectures are recorded, edited for self-study, and published on the learning management system, along with the rich electronic resources of the Egyptian Knowledge Bank and the interactive ebooks from international publishers such as Pearson and McGraw-Hill. Such education model is now highly admired, not only by graduate students, but by undergraduate students, with shifts in their way of living and accordingly expectations from higher education. And the universal life is of high importance for developing undergraduate students' personality. This education model maintains a balanced learning experience for students, providing them with the flexibility needed for their in-campus and off-campus activities. We can say that ELU serves inclusion in 4 dimensions: the geographic, socioeconomic, pedagogical, and technological inclusion. And today's presentation, we will focus on the efforts on digital infrastructure for inclusion as a means for supporting traditional and non-traditional learners and students. In its core, the university aims to create a supportive ecosystem that fosters technological advancement and prepares students for modern education and professional demands. We plan to move from traditional teaching and learning methods to more engaging and participatory learning approaches. But achieving the expansion while maintaining the quality of teaching and learning and while operations is going was not an easy task. For example, the well-established complex digital infrastructure with integrated systems covering all functions of the university: academic functions, teaching and learning, infrastructure, basic infrastructure, and administrative and decision supports, These classes of systems and the systems within were very complex. And each block of these, I will not go through the details, of course, but each block of this represents a system, represents an initiatives that required more than one and even 2 or 3 years to achieve. And I will present one of them briefly soon. These systems were from several sources, in fact. Some of them were internationally developed, such as Microsoft, Salesforce, and so on, and these were well recognized worldwide. The others were national developed, here by Egyptian companies or other universities, and some of them were in-house developed by AAU personnel and development team. We were not driven by the brands or by the technology. We selected what strategically fits our mission and needs. And this is very important indeed. Connecting with a student was a very important case for us. Now I will give the case of major change that we have made and the results. The nature of ELU is the dispersed nature of ELU shapes how we plan and implement initiatives. For example, you can imagine that it's required for us to centrally manage 13 or more than 13 student recruitment campaigns, one for each center in each governor, provides unified distinguished student services, listening to student voice. They need to feel connected to ELU. We have to listen from them, and they can hear us. Monitor department performance, control financing, providing a common ground for students' activities, supporting student, advising academic and career advice. One notable success story was the establishment of the student relationship unit, supported by a world-class customer relationship management system and a dedicated call center. Such integration strategically addressed three core functions of the university. Number one was the student recruitment. The second one was student life and student experience in the university. And the final one was a student advancement. And the impact that has been clearly demonstrated through the measurable growth, in fact. In the first year, we started in 2022, we served 12,000 cases. In the following year, 2023, we served 22,000 cases. 2024, we have 40,000 cases. And this is for sure aligned also with the growth of the number of students. And this year, 2025, we expect more than 65,000 cases to be handled by this unit. This unit made sure that we have a direct and ongoing connection with our students in all dimensions, from the recruitment and bringing them on board to the until they graduate from a student from the university and keeping linking with them after they graduate. And then now, as a result of COVID pandemic, we another phase for it. The demand for flexible education model became even more critical, and many universities, Egypt and the region, are now striving to effectively and efficiently implement similar model. However, transition to a blended learning model that effectively merges in-person and online education requires significant technical expertise, strong infrastructure, and teaching methods adaptation. This is where ELU can play a transformative role and contributes to the overall development of higher education by increasing access, helping universities expand their reach to more students, especially those who face barriers in traditional education, improve quality, ensuring the blended learning models maintain or even enhance the quality of education, and finally, accelerating innovation, driving the adoption of cutting-edge education technologies, ensuring that Egypt and Africa and the region remain at the forefront of the global education model. Okay, thank you very much for this time and this opportunity.
Thank you, Professor Shem, for the great presentation and this information about the role model that ELU is taking to maximize the benefits and to follow up the new technology and the new era of tools for the higher education. And please, people who in the platform, if you have any question for Professor Hisham, you can just write down on the chat box, and we will get the answers by the end of the session. Thank you, Professor Hisham. And now let me please our great attendee to move for the next speaker, which is Professor Muhammad Milani from Oran, Algeria University. I'll share my screen to introduce Professor Muhammad Milani. Okay. Professor Muhammad Milani is a retired. Sorry, what's going on? Sorry. Okay, Professor Muhammad Milani is a retired professor of Applied Linguistics Education, University of Oran 2, holds a diploma in TEFL, MED, and PhD, University of Wales. Research interested is socio-linguistics, education system evaluation, and university ethics, and language in education. He's author of several book chapters on preschooling languages in education, university guidance, and educational leadership. Research projects leader in university ethics, CRASC, which is Center de Research in Anthropology, Social Culture, member of Textbooks Accreditation Committee and Ministry of National Education, President of Algerian Technical Committee for Education, UNESCO. He HERE, which is Higher Education Reform Expert, Erasmus Plus Program, Research Fellow, Euro Mediterranean Center for Educational Research, Malta. Professor Milani, floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm going then to share my screen with you.
Pleasure.
Hopefully you have it. So this is then the title I wish then to tackle with you. So it's digital literacy, a module across foreign languages curricula.
Professor, sorry for interrupting you. The screen is not shared.
Sorry?
The screen is not shared. We cannot see your screen.
And now?
It starts. Hopefully.
Starts?
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
So maybe it's the wrong one you're having. Do you have it now, the emergence of worldwide of digital technology?
What we see is a Word file is about the principles of T particles. It's in French.
And now? The emergence?
No, sir. No.
Okay, I'll try then once again to repeat.
Okay.
So you have something?
Not yet. Do you mind if I share from my end?
Yeah, if you please, because well, I'm having
Okay.
a problem. Thanks so much.
No problem. Okay. Okay, please go ahead, sir.
So I have a slight problem of contact in my video. So I wonder whether I can simply speak, because it seems that, well.
Okay, Professor, I did share the PowerPoint for you. I'm not sure if you can see the screen
Okay,
for
well,
us.
if you take the first the introduction, so
This one.
before, yeah, well, I'm not saying anything from my end, but it's the introduction. Now, as far as the introduction is concerned, so I wish simply then to say something about well, the early days of digital technology then in the 1940s. And of course, with Algeria, which became then independent in 1962, we are really into, from the 1980s, the implementation of ICTs. By the cohorts we have over 1,800,000 then in 2025. And you can imagine the big leap then we're witnessing thanks then to ICTs. As far as digital literacy is concerned, which is a more recent coinage in 1997, we say that we're a bit struggling to spread it, well, despite, well, the enormous investments that we have. And of course, something which has been in my problematics is then to try and show something like a continuum. The continuum then is between then the ICTs and, of course, we talk now about then intelligence. The thing about then foreign languages then is that it started in the 1960s, and I was even involved in that learning. From the 1960s, it's the language lab, which has been, if you want, the key thing we were witnessing as far as learning was concerned. And we have to go back then to reel-to-reel tape recorders with headphones and what have you. So the main tenets at that time were following the audiovisual age. Maybe you can remember, where everything was about the use of images and sounds. And of course, in language learning, that is a must, because it's going to deal with intonation. Of course, things are going then to get more and more sophisticated with the integration of digital devices. And we have more integrative software, which are going then going to appear, like the digital whiteboard. Next, if you please. Right. I wanted to say something about the idea of trying then to implement something, and try then to do it from the terrain, which is then the classroom. Of course, the list of ICTs, then you have it, the internet, the computer, the laptop, and what have you. But in the last 2 decades, we have then witnessed then in classroom situations, then the use of computers and other digital technologies facilitated by the high level of telecommunication techniques. The ICT, unfortunately, once again, has been shared by 2 demands, one which is the administration, and the other which is more the pedagogy. I can even venture to say that the ICTs have helped then implement the 2004 higher education reform, which was also entitled LND reform. It's true that we have seen quite a change with digital advancement, and not least is the system which has been applied by the Ministry of Higher Education, where once again, things have been integrated. So students that do not have then to go to the department to get registered, everything now is done over the internet. The records of students' pedagogical progress, the emergence then of a more, if you want, up-to-date administration, because there are elements now which appear like the staff file, the scientific achievement. But surely what is the most important element is multimedia lectures, which are put and over the internet. But one thing which is important to them to remember is that ICTs were also meant to transform teaching and learning, which is one of the key issues, because very frequently what we had then in classroom situations were, if you want, updated methodologies. Right. How then do we see it? We, users and the administration, it's that digital literacy, as defined by UNESCO, and they say that it's the ability to use digital technologies effectively, safely, and critically. Now, these three levels are very important, because it's not simply then the use of it, but it's how efficient you are and some kind of safety preoccupation. And critically for learning, which is a bit difficult then for students then who are changing the whole approach to learning. And of course, communication and participation in society. But this is something we'll talk about later on. Now, Algeria is definitely improving rapidly, but unevenly, because we still have some kind of differences locally or regionally, because not every single establishment then has the capacities, has the equipment. And one thing which has also raised the questions, it's the introduction of quality assurance, and with another introduction, which is a big change at university level, it's competency-based education, which has become, if you want, the key element in the reform of 2004. Last but not least, it's, of course, the everlasting problem of internet connectivity, despite then the optical fiber nationwide. Next, if you please. Right, now you have here a table to just show you how in foreign languages, and when I say foreign languages, it's Spanish, Russian, English, French, and what have you, all right? And we have the BA level and the master's level. The BA level, then the type is cross-curricular teaching. We call that, it's a big unit where you have different courses, and one of them then is digital literacy. As far as the master level is concerned, then they use it, but under another heading, which is research methodology, and the title of the course is open sources. And you have the number of hours, which shows you how heavy the lectures are. Themes are diverse, of course, but one thing which is definitely to be reckoned with is that digital literacy has become a change initiator, and we have then to keep up with the change. One thing which has appeared is how students then are using their digital competencies. At times then they are maybe better than their teachers. Right, next please. Right, now this is one of the key factor in, and that's why I said it's a management system par excellence. It's the Moodle, everybody then has heard about it, okay, which has imposed itself then on the life of teachers and students, because, and in of course, languages in particular, because it's a user-friendly tool which has allowed us then to have recourse of quality, because we were systematically trying then to follow the repository of quality assurance. Now, the activities which appear then over Moodle, then this open source learning management system, it's then what students then are trying to learn. And I told you already then that cross-curricular units, because we have different units. We have fundamental units, we have discovery units, cross-curricular units, and methodology units. Right, as far as the AMA are concerned, now they use 100% Moodle, whereas as far as the other degrees and BA in particular, then it's the discovery unit. So you see, it's some kind of progression in the way students are introduced then to this system, because we'd like them then to go step by step in order then to reach the highest performance possible. One of the key issues for us teachers is student assessment. And it's quite a help using Moodle, okay, for assessing students' proficiency level. One thing remains, however, it's, I think this is a continuous problem, which is the training of teachers and students alike. Because even if the basic kinds of skills are looked, we still need then to have some kind of maybe initial training or some kind of development for teachers in particular, because it's us teachers who are at times lagging behind. Last slide, please. The perspectives. I think they are bright, without then saying too much. It's simply because the ministry then has decided really then to follow this path. And we're seeing then the result then with our students. And I think it's a question of course, of developing what we would call a community of practice. This is something which should go across the university, involving not simply teachers or students, but also the staff. And we've seen then things happening at different levels with different portals, in particular one which is at the disposal of students for their diploma equivalence or authentication, and one for foreign language or foreign students, which is called, this platform is called Study in Algeria, which addresses this kind of demand. Now, it's true that this digital literacy has become necessary for a country like Algeria, where we have over 58 million active mobile connectors. So you can see that there is a population that we need to address by opening up more and more the horizon of digital evaluation, digital use. The bigger challenge, however, should involve also the schools, because we do receive students or pupils, shall I say, from schools where things are just starting, where the kids are using tablets, but still, we do believe that the digital literacy skills need to be also given then to kids at school level, at university, because it's not simply a question of generic knowledge to get, but also then how to navigate the digital world around us. And I think one needs also then to raise the issue of ethics, which is not mentioned in this slide. But my belief is that should go hand in hand with how critical then we are with this tool in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor, for the enlightened presentation on the digital literacy, a module across foreign language curricula, and the case of University of Oran to Algeria. And Professor, you have provided us with a deeper understanding of how technology is reshaping the educational practices, and we truly appreciate the expertise and the effort you brought to this session. Thank you, Professor, for sharing your valuable knowledge with us today.
Thank you.
And these professors and the stakeholders of the higher education, if you have any questions for Professor Milani, we have opportunity to have the question now. Is there any question, please? Do you have any questions? So if there is no questions, I would like to take the chance to move to the our third speaker, which is Professor Mahmoud Sapahi. He is the Vice President of Badr University in Cairo, Egypt. Professor Mahmoud Sabahi, he's an expert in pharmaceutical technology and nano medicine plus 20 years in expertise, and he's a PhD in pharmaceutical nanotechnology, University of Montreal, Canada. He's a former assistant director and visiting scholar at Texas A&M University, USA. He published more than 140 papers in top international journals. Professor Sabahi ranked among Stanford University's 20% scientists 2020 and 2024. Principal, he's a principal investigator on major national and international grants. He is recipient of a major awards like State Instinct Award 2016 and the Global Medal Geneva Invention 2021, and he has Award of Excellence Medal First Class 2017 and Opada Prize 2021. He's also an ambassador and member of Egyptian Young Academy of Science. He's a contributor to Egypt Science and Technology Policy Development. Professor Mohsen Sabahi is a vice president of Badr University Cairo, as I mentioned before, and he will lead the Badr University vision and the leadership role in the innovation in Egypt and internationally. Professor Mahmoud, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Muhammad. I will share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Professor, just go ahead, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today with all of you. It's really exciting, and thanks, Dr. Muhammad, for this kind invitation. So today, of course, I mean, the topic, like probably all of us, I'm sure, like are aware of this topic. However, it is although it is a very known topic and very important, and all of us talk about it like every day, it is overlooked in our region. Honestly, at least it's my personal opinion. It is a topic that we all care about and we all talk about all the time, but it doesn't have enough attention, or at least, or particularly in the implementation part. Innovation, of course, as we know, it's not only about a technology that we find in the market. It is a complete process of creating ideas and solving problems, improving efficiency, or meet unmet need, for example, sometimes. Um, it results in creating new technologies, but it is not only creating new technologies, but it is sometimes improving the processes or providing better services to the society. Collaboration in the African region or between the African universities and implementation to have uh, breaking cutting edge technologies is not enough yet. At least I'd say that till now. Of course, as we know, like caring about innovation will result in creating new products or improving processes or developing a new business model, for example. But for universities in particular, it is not only like creating new product or improving processes, it is also improving how to deliver value or operating a specific process. There are different types of the innovation, from architectural or disruptive or radical or incremental, like many of us are aware about that, and they will have a different effect or impact on the market and on the technology itself. But the most important, I would say, I will not dig in the details of the difference between these types of innovation. What I'm just saying, like we should have all of them, either like in gradual or continuous improvement in specific services or products, or coming up with technological breakthrough. But we should have, or the university should have, all these kinds of technologies. This is what we teach, all of us teach to students in our schools and in our universities, that it starts first with brainstorming and like creating the ideas, and with research or validation, followed by development, implementation, and review. All of us know these items and teach them to our students. But what is unknown is that many of us doesn't know that these steps are not separated from the steps that will be carried out in partnership, either with your collaborators or with your industrial partners. So many people or many researchers think that we start with the brainstorming, we come up with the idea, and then we start for development. And once we have a prototype, we will contact our collaborator or our industrial partners, and he will get impressed with our finding and get it or commercialize it or license it for his company. But unfortunately, this doesn't happen usually. And the reason is that because the industrial partner should be there from the first step. I had a personal experience. For example, when we were like brainstorming some ideas, and we have one of our panel members, like his industrial partner, and he contribute to this brainstorming. He will advise you, oh, your idea, although it is like very nice and very attractive, even if you reach to creating a prototype, it is not of interest to the industry. So he starts from the first step. So this is very important thing that I think we should be aware of when we collaborate between our universities in Africa, or even with our industrial partner, that the partner or the collaborator should be there from the first step, not only when we have a prototype and we introduce this prototype for him. Let's take very quick example. If you are, for example, like collaborating with Apple, for example, and you think that there is like very important feature, if it is included in their phone, as this will have an added value, and you are working in your lab for like about 1 or 2 years, and then you go to Apple, oh, I have this amazing idea, and it is amazing idea, but it is not of interest to them. Either it will cost too much, or they are now their main focus on another aspect of developing their iPhone. So but from the beginning, if you participate, one, for example, of like the stakeholders, and they will advise you, no, I mean, this is not of interest now, so it is better to work or to change the direction or to modify your idea. So it is very, very important for the industrial partner to be there from the first step. This is, of course, when I say like innovation and its role in driving economic progress, this is very important, especially for our region and for our universities. I mean, innovation can make like significant or unusual or very rapid development in our economy. Of course, it can drive our economic growth and enhance the competitiveness and create values, either for companies or for our universities. I will show, for example, later, like some example in how like creating these new ideas and developing these innovations, either in collaboration between different universities, of course, and it is very important to have a partner from the industry, can affect on the economic growth of the country. And we have seen many countries that their economy have changed significantly only because of innovations. They don't have like natural resources, but the innovations changed completely their economic growth. Um Badr University in Cairo. I don't know if all of you know about Badr University in Cairo. It is located in Badr City in Cairo, in Egypt. Although it is relatively like young university, it has been ranked in pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences among the top 300 and 400 universities in the world. And also it is ranked Times Higher Education Impact and other reputable ranking. We have around 22,000 students. There are around 6,000 graduates and around close to 1,000 academic staff. We have close to 60 undergraduate programs and 30 postgraduate programs and several research centers. As a member of the AAU, we are trying to communicating successfully with many African universities to strengthen the collaboration and including industrial partners. And I think this will be very important to either my university or to the African universities and to the economic growth of the whole region. Of course, to create an impact on the society and in the region and in the economy, we need all these partners. So this is very important to realize. It is not only colleges and universities. This is, of course, the core of what we are talking about, but the industrial partners. You will need also investment. And some people would ask why we need investment or funding, although we have the industrial partner, because especially in the beginning of this relationship, the industrial partner will be very conservative. So they will need like either, of course, there are different sources of funding and investment, either from government or non-governmental organization, but this will give confidence in the beginning and facilitate the collaboration. So we need all these pillars to achieve successful collaboration to create innovations that will affect the economic growth of either our countries or our region. Of course, there are different forms of collaboration between the universities and the industrial partners. Sometimes we create some hubs or some, we say them incubators or accelerators in the university. And sometimes the industries will provide also either space or fund or deep collaboration and internship or different forms in their area. All these forms of collaboration are sometimes there are multiple forms of collaborations, and all of them, when they were implemented in the right way in different countries, they resulted in significant growth of their economy and in the educational landscape. Of course, when we talk about like the partnership between the industry and the academia, this can be achieved in different ways, sometimes in form of the joint research carried out between the universities and the industrial partner. Sometimes it is also in the form of scholarships or commissioned research or technical guidance. I would say the most important, in my personal opinion, and this I have seen from mistakes from my myself and my partners and my community. I mentioned that in the beginning of my presentation, and I will stress or focus on this point. Sometimes the major mistake is that as a researcher, we think that we should author many papers and come up with several innovations and file the patents. And of course, like all this is right, but the mistake is that after we are done with all these, we will start seeking the industrial partner. So my personal recommendation or my personal advice to get the benefits from this collaboration, either in terms of shared resources or economic growth or improvement in the processes or in the education, is to involve the industrial partner from the beginning of the story. Of course, we have many examples, successful examples on collaboration and how this changes the economic growth of company. Probably the most common or the most famous example is the Silicon Valley. This is the most known. I mean, if you walk on this street, you will get like impressed, like with the number of investment or amount of funding and the number of universities and companies, very famous companies in one street. And because of the very strong partnership and collaboration between these industrial sectors and the students and faculties and universities in this region, they created an like gold standard. I'd say this is the best example for how this collaboration between universities and industry can change the landscape and the economy of these countries. Of course, we have many, many other examples from Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Harvard. And if you look, and these statistics are available online, to their revenues from innovations, from licensing new technologies. I mean, it is really amazing. Um, we encourage the African universities to collaborate with each other, creating innovation hubs and sharing ideas, and establishment of collaborative education programs and sponsored research. And if this at the end results in technology transfer, for example, I think it will be of huge benefit and impact for our students, for our faculty and staff member, and also for our countries. Of course, after like, talking about all these steps and recommendations, there are very important challenges. Just to be honest, I will talk about these challenges because I mean sometimes okay, it's very clear. Let's collaborate. Let's start tomorrow. But usually there are some obstacles or challenges that I will overview with you after a couple of slides. But first, let me talk about like the main steps for transformation of idea to an impact. Because again, I mean, the most important at the end is the impact. So the first step is usually by defining the vision. So this is very important. Sometimes it's overlooked or neglected or quickly, but it is very important to define the vision and to agree on the vision between yourself and the collaborators included in this cooperation. And the second thing is that like when you looking to develop an innovation, it must meet the societal need. You solve up an existing problem. You add value. You create an impact. Third step is the feasibility, and this is something that we always say to our students. I mean, sometimes you have a very good idea, but it's not feasible. You cannot do it. So it's very important to be aware of all the sides of this innovation and to be aligned with the strategy to achieve the long-term objectives because we have seen many amazing ideas, but they usually will not be completed. So it is very important to include experts in this collaboration, I would say, to advise you down the road on the steps that you should take, the risks, like the challenges. So this will be very important to achieve um, the ultimate goal that you have. The challenges in the partnership, and this I would say very, very important part, because sometimes it's okay, let's okay, we are talking today and three of our universities with a few industrial partners, and we decided to go ahead and collaborate on an innovation. We need this very much. We need it for our country and for our students. But there are many challenges down the road. One of them, for example, is the intellectual property rights. If these are not very well defined since the beginning, it will be very challenging to continue in the project. Because in the beginning, all are enthusiastic and we start and we work and we create results and it is very amazing. And once we start to have an impact or to have a prototype, okay, I mean, who owns the idea? Who has what is the percentage, who will have the decision to license this product, taking into consideration, of course, some cultural differences and objectives. What's my goal? Some people would have like their main goal is to create revenue, which is okay. Others would like to share that we own this technology. So all these things must be upon very well before starting the partnership and before starting the collaboration. Of course, there are many other challenges, but I would say these are the very important. We should agree on them before starting the collaboration because once the vision is clear, once we agree on the terms and conditions, the future of this partnership will be really impactful. The universities and partners involved in this collaboration. So, in conclusion, partnership between African universities and with industrial partners focusing on innovation can really change the landscape of our region. We have a strong, for example, if I talk about Badr University in Cairo, we have very strong relationship with many African universities, and we have very good intention. But till now, we do not have the amazing start we are aiming for. That's why I hope through this very nice and effective workshop, we can collaborate together and start working on some joint ideas to have real impact on our countries. These are some of the references that we are used, and thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Professor Mahmoud, and really appreciate this informative presentation about what Badr University in Cairo is doing on the floor and show up how the innovation hub you have in Badr University. I know very well what's the impact you are doing for the society and how this impact also the graduates of your university. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question for Professor Mahmoud, the Vice President of Badr University in Cairo, please go ahead. Okay, if there is no question, I would like to re-thank again our speakers for this session, which is Professor Hisham Abdel Salam from EALU University, and he is AAU governing board member for the Association of African Universities for North Africa. Professor Muhammad Milani from Oran to Algeria University. Thank you, and also special thanks to Professor Mahmoud Sabahi for the Badr University in Cairo.
Thank you.
Yeah, to summarize, this session explored themes shaping the future of higher education and innovation in North Africa with a focus on Algeria and Egypt. It highlighted the transformative potential of digital literacy as a foundational skill for modern learning ecosystem. Algeria's experience illustrated both the promising advances in ICT adoption and the ongoing challenging infrastructure and the capacity building that impact the digital education full integration. Complementing this, the session examined how university-industry partnership serves as a catalyst for regional innovation and economic progress. The case of Badr University in Cairo demonstrated how such collaboration enhance talent development, accelerate research, commercialization, and address societal challenges through multi-sector cooperation. Integral to this discussion was the role of the Egyptian e-learning university, a pioneering institution that amplifies the strategy used of digital education to increase access, improve quality, and align academic outputs with national development goals. ELU partnership and innovation initiatives reinforce the session's broader narrative of fostering inclusive technology-driven knowledge economics. So together, this perspective underscores shared commitment across the region to leverage digital transformation and collaborative innovation as driver of sustainable growth and educational excellence. Thank you all for being here. And as we draw this enriching conference session, this celebration session to a close, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the entire Association of African Universities team for their outstanding dedication and support that made this event possible. Special thanks to Professor Olosola Oyeli, Secretary General of the AAU, and to Professor Frederick Arma, Director of Research and Programs. Thank you for your tireless effort. And also Mr. Ransford Buku, Partnership Manager. Thank you for ensuring the operational and strategic foundation are strong. And for the great person who helped today for the session, Mr. Schneider. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Isa, for such inspiring session that we've had so far. I think a whole lot of insights were generated from this, and I think to add to your voice on the concluding thoughts, I think Professor Miliani touched on a very key message, which of course we've been deliberating on for the day in terms of AI and the use of AI. And one thing Prof mentioned was that what we should do is to arm our students with the capacities to find information online, judge its worth, and to use the ever-changing sophisticated technological means and express critically their own vision of things. This is responsible use of artificial intelligence, and these are some of the things that we should imbibe in our students and even as faculty going forward. And with that, we'll be able to use AI for the best of it. And also for Professor Mohammed El Sabahi, also talking about the impact of partnerships in promoting technology and innovation. Also, we find that innovation is key for economic growth. And so we encourage African universities to collaborate with each other in promoting innovation and leveraging on our collective strengths. We note the lot of things that are happening on the continent with our individual universities, and we hope that universities would continue to partner each other within the continent and not just emphasize on partnerships with the global north. So on that note, we would like to thank all the panelists and our moderator for this session. We have one final session to go for the day. So before we start our next session, we will take some 2 minutes break. And then when we finish, we come back to continue with the next sessions. Stay with us.